had already watched everything and studied these people and had his economy set up for war. Now, they said the ruble is dying out. They're going to digital currency anyway, so it don't matter. The American dollar dying out. Right. They all going digital anyway, so that don't even matter. Okay? But another thing too, what the people don't know, that America has a bio lab in Ukraine. Okay, they have a biochemical lab in Ukraine, in Odessa. Okay, that's in the south part of Russia. I mean, that's in the south part of Ukraine. Okay, and Russia haven't hit that yet. They haven't got to that yet. But America wants to still be in control of that bio lab that's in Odessa, because guess what's in that bio lab? Bioweapons, biometric weapons. Okay, and they gon' if Russia swallow the whole of Ukraine, which they gonna do it, they gonna take over that lab that's in Odessa. But the American people don't know that America have built a biometric lab in Ukraine, in Odessa, and Russia gonna get control of that. They already got control of the nuclear power plant. So they cutting off certain things which are critical to Ukraine.
States did, and Putin said that the threat is now on our border, at our border. It has arrived there, and we had data, and we have data that the Pentagon is preoccupied about the chemical and biological installations in Ukraine, because Pentagon built 2 biological war labs, and they have been developing pathogens there in Kiev and in Odessa, and now they are concerned that they may lose control over these labs. And you know what it may be like in future, and the Americans decline flatly and resolutely to start a inspection mechanism as part of the Convention for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and they build new chemical and biological facilities all across Russian borders. And many other developments happened. The CIA has been on the ground in droves, and they have been training the Ukrainian army not to wage a war with Poland.
Benjamin Hall is in Kiev. It's 10 a.m. local time on Sunday. Ben, thank you for joining me from the front line from Kiev. Kiev's preparing for street-to-street fighting. Overnight, you reported hearing gunfire, artillery thuds, and air sirens. What's happening on the ground?
Yeah, hi Shari, thanks for having me. Look, there's no doubt that this is a city on edge, as you say, it's waiting for the inevitable invasion. This was the crown jewel, if you will, for Vladimir Putin. He wants the capital, and he wanted to take it as quickly as possible. And what we saw in the first few days of this invasion was this long convoy coming down towards Kyiv to try and take it quickly. That didn't work. There were logistical problems, supply problems. In fact, a lot of people were also surprised by how effective the Ukrainians were in holding that back. And so what we've seen is Putin take a step back, recalibrate, learn from his mistakes, and he's now going at a far more methodical pace. And so what that means is that he's starting to surround this city. He's got it on 3 sides, the north, the east, and the west. The only way in and out is one road to the south. And so this is really a city bracing for the inevitable invasion. It's eerie to be here. You know, as you say, you hear the thud of artillery. You hear at night, you see the night sky lit up with flashes. You hear gunfire. But the main invasion hasn't come. It appears as if Putin is focusing first on the surrounding borders, so the north, the east, the west. He's taken over a few cities already, Kherson being one, shelling Mariupol at the moment, flattening Kharkiv to the ground. That's the country's second largest city, and now moving to the critical port city of Odessa. You can see, if you look at a map, just how he is starting to move in move into the country slowly and surely. And although the Ukrainians are putting up an incredible fight, and they are doing so with US and NATO support, they've got the Javelin missiles, the Stinger missiles, they simply can't hold back the sheer size, the sheer scale of Vladimir Putin's 200,000 strong army. And the feeling is, no matter what they do, no matter how brave they are, the inevitable is going to come. And that is, these cities will fall to Putin.
Of that call is one of the grimmest I've ever read. Vladimir Putin said he was fighting a neo-Nazi regime and that unless diplomatically Ukraine was disarmed and neutralized, he would continue his military campaign. President Macron told him that this was not a Nazi regime, that he was deluded and not describing reality, and that it would cost his country dearly. The source said that Vladimir Putin intended to take the whole country and that the worst was yet to come.
And just like I said to you about 3 weeks ago, that we do know that Zelensky is a gutter rat. What day I said that to you? That was like 3 weeks ago. I said that to you, making fun, you know what I'm saying? Making fun, so I bet you can't guess, you know what I'm saying?
Too late.
What nationality Zelensky is. But I told him anyway, you know what I'm saying? Just messing with him. You know what I'm saying? But Zelensky, Vladimir Zelensky, which is the Ukrainian president, he's a gutter rat, right? Okay? A so-called
Gutter rat, yeah, God.
Yeah, he's a gutter rat, Mike. What day was it I sent that to you? It was a while ago, 2 weeks. I know at least like a week or 2 ago.
It was February, it was Friday, February the 25th.
So when was it, how long ago was the 25th? What's today's date? Date of 6. So that's almost what, like 2 weeks ago?
25th?
Yeah.
So probably like a week ago.
Yeah, like a week ago. Okay. What day did I send it?
February the 25th?
Yeah, February 25th, 2022. That's when I sent you that Zelensky is a gutter rat. You see? And he's a puppet for really America. Okay? He's a puppet for really America. And then Zelensky, which is Ukrainian president, said NATO is weak.
Yeah.
Said NATO is weak, man.
And he had a little bit more bass. He had a little bit more bass in his voice when he was talking about, NATO than when he was, before that. When Russia was going to invade.
And then you had a woman getting on Boris, complaining about the situation, and she was basically getting on Boris.
So-called allies are not 100% committed and helpless because their pleas are falling on deaf ears. This next exchange sums up both emotions. It happened in Warsaw, Poland. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was visiting the city. His mission was to bolster NATO defenses. Listen to what a Ukrainian activist said to him.
Because you are afraid. Because NATO is not willing to defend. Because NATO is afraid of World War III, but it is already started. And these are Ukrainian children who are there taking the hit. You're talking about more sanctions, Prime Minister, but Roman Abramovich is not sanctioned. He's in London. His children are not in the bombardments. His children are there in London. Putin's children are in Netherlands, in Germany, in mansions. Where are all these mansions seized? I don't see that. I see that my family members, that my team members are saying that we are crying. We don't know where to run. This is what is happening, Prime Minister.
How do you respond to that? The West says it is imposing maximum sanctions, but Putin's soldiers are still on the march. In fact, the bombing has escalated.
Which is over there in Britain. She was getting on him about NATO being weak.
Yeah, basically saying NATO is afraid, man.
They're scared of Russia.
Yeah, they're scared of Russia.
See? Hey man, and then, like I was saying, America gets their gas. Let me look at this. Let me make sure. America gets their, they still getting gas from Russia. Let me look at this here. Let me see where America get their gas from. I think it's Russia, Colombia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. It's Colombia, Saudi Arabia.
Well, I was just looking up Russia. How much? 8%.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. United States get their petroleum from Canada, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Colombia. That's where they get their petroleum from. Okay. Now, Ukraine have resources. Okay. Ukraine got resources. They got iron, they got coal, they got titanium, and other metallic raw material. And also, when you watch the State of the Union, with Joe Biden mentioned chips. Okay, he mentioned chips in that State of the Union. In order for you to have them chips, like in your phone, like in your cars, like in your computers, that silicone that they use to put those chips together to where they can control the frequency of it getting hot and cold so it can be balanced. Though that silicone comes from Russia and Ukraine and South America, but majority of it comes from Russia and Ukraine.
I had a Edomite.
Okay.
My plantation for the last fucking 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? 2 weeks. All he's been talking about is he's been trying to get a new SUV for, you know what I'm saying, for his old lady or whatever. And all he keeps talking is that a lot of these vehicles that are being made in the United States they're having trouble getting chips for the vehicles
because you got to have that silicone that comes from Russia and Ukraine. Okay. And I think it comes from South America too, but majority of it comes from Russia and Ukraine, and Taiwan over there has only got 6 months worth of stocks, okay, of that silicone, okay, Taiwan do, okay, and